Carlos, I want to get into the Green Bay Packers. This is a young team. Across the board, they are young. They have superstars on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. They have a very good head coach with Matt LaFleur. He is 67-33 in the regular season. Now he's 3-5 in the playoffs, so I mean, not too successful in the playoffs. You want to get above 500 for sure. But 67-33. He had Aaron Rodgers. Now he has Jordan Love. They have a super young team around them. Pretty solid offensive line as well. This is a team that they're one of those pesky teams, right? I feel like that they're always going to give you a challenge. They're not a team that you're just going to kind of have to be like, oh, it's the Packers. But we'll get through this week and let's move on to the next opponent. Like, you got to pay attention to them. They had a little bit of an up and down season, kind of inconsistent there. But I will say Jordan Love ended the year, I think it was his last 7 or 8 games, he did not throw an interception. So he definitely started hitting a good stride there, which kind of happened, if we remember a couple of years ago, that happened to him a couple of years ago where he really kind of started to get into a groove. So I don't know if that's just his thing. It takes a little bit of a longer process for him to get in his zone. But overall, this team is talented. I like them. How do you feel about them coming into this year?
Well, you're right. They are pesky. They're just a well-coached team. I mean, it's just a team, that's going to be prepared. They're going to be ready. They have Josh Jacobs, I feel like, is their superstar, and Jordan Love. Like, on the receiving core, they got a bunch of young guys. There's not that guy, though, like you see on some other teams. Like, the Pittsburgh has like DK Metcalf. You have the guy that you game plan. So I don't know if it's good for them not to have that guy, or is it because they have so many guys that are they're good. They just don't have anybody great. And I don't know if that hurts them or helps them. A part of me thinks that hurts them because defenses can, and you see it in their game. If you're, especially a fantasy football player, you see one guy have a great week and then he doesn't have a great week for 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
But they don't have that guy that people are like, hey, we got to watch out for this guy. So, not being a coach, I just don't, maybe that helps them a little bit where they have to, the defenses playing them have to be well-rounded or just put pressure on Jordan Love. That's oddly, my fear with Jordan Love, and Green Bay Packer fans, please don't hate me with this comment. Please don't hate me with it. Is he the next Dak Prescott? Have we seen his best football? Is he at his best football? Can he move into an elite status that he has? Because I don't view Dak as elite. He's not that top 7 guys that are in the NFL, but they put numbers up. But does he have that mental piece where like an Allen, Mahomes, Hurts that's on there, even a Jared Goff who's grown up through the years, Matt Stafford, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, he's not in that category yet. And I think for the Packers to get over, like, win playoff games, unless they're playing the Cowboys first round, then you get that win.
Always.
But are we going to see more out of Jordan Love? And that's my thing with the Green Bay Packers. Are you okay going 10-7, 11-6, first round bounce out of the playoffs? Like, at some point you're just like, hey, what the heck? Like, we want more. Or are the Packers fans satisfied with that? And can Josh Jacobs can he repeat the year he had last year? That's another thing. I mean, the guy was great last year. Can he repeat it? And that's still another a question mark for me, even though I felt like he's a good back. Like, nobody's gonna say he's a bad back.
No.
I just have questions. They lose Jair Alexander on defense. That's gonna hurt. The guy is one of the top 5 cover corners in the NFL, and he just signed with Baltimore, which is insanely nasty now for Baltimore. So can they recover from that? They do have a good defense with they have Rashawn Gary, Kenny Clark up front, Quay Walker. Like, there's some guys there that are good.
Even Isaiah McDuffie. I mean, he's productive there in the middle of the field.
Yeah, and I have oddly weird question marks with them, but they are well coached with LaFleur. Like, So you can't never count them out. Those teams that are just well coached, they don't necessarily. It's like Tomlin with Pittsburgh. They're well coached. They're gonna win. They're gonna be above 500. It's just what are they gonna do in the playoffs or when they get
Well,
there?
that's the biggest thing is I don't think anyone's doubting that Green Bay is a playoff team. I think everyone can understand, hey, Green Bay can go to the dance. They can get in the mix. But it is that 3-5 record that kind of hangs over Matt LaFleur's head. And to come to to come to Jordan Love's defenses here, you said it earlier, he doesn't have that guy. Dak Prescott has CeeDee Lamb. He's always had a great running game with him outside of just the past year or so after I don't know what happened with the Dallas Cowboys running game. But I mean, he has Josh Jacobs now. He had 1,300 yards, 15 touchdowns. That's huge. It's super productive.
It's
I
super
think he
Dak.
can.
It's super Dak Prescott. But look at
It is.
Mahomes. Look at Mahomes. Who's his running back? Whoever. Who's his best wide receiver? Whoever. Like he's just not there.
Yeah, I mean, if you're an elite quarterback, you make it work. I mean, that's just the bottom line. So, but maybe Matthew Golden comes in and be is that number one guy. We
It
don't
could
know.
be.
We,
Could
we
be.
we don't know. Jaden Reed. I mean, the Jaden Reed's last 8 games, I looked at it, and he didn't surpass 100 yards. Actually, he barely surpassed 60 or 70 yards in the last 8 games of the year. It was just such a super inconsistent, but I think it's just because of the way that offensive scheme is, and they were so favorable on the run game that it was kind of like, well, I mean, we'll pass it, but really everything is going to go through Josh Jacobs. And Josh Jacob, I think he can be that workhorse. I truly do think that. I think that they have a good offensive line, a good enough offensive line to create holes for Josh Jacob. So, but comparing Jordan Love to Dak Prescott, it's a fair comparison because you're right. Jordan Love is the type of quarterback who can put up numbers. He'll be consistent with it. He doesn't turn the ball over a whole lot, but when it comes down to the playoff games, unless if he's actually facing Dak Prescott, then there's just that inconsistency. Oh man, that I didn't even think about that, but it is a very fair assessment. Carlos, where do you have them this year? I was looking at
Man.
their schedule, and it's a pretty middle of the pack kind of schedule. I feel like.
I don't think we have records like we saw last year, a 15-2 and a 14-3. I don't think Detroit, and we'll get to them soon, and then Minnesota. I don't think you see
Yeah.
that. I see this division tightening up, and maybe 12 wins it. 11 is right there
Hmm.
because everybody got a little bit better, but we're still suspect with Minnesota now. I don't think Minnesota runs off 14-3. It's really, but for the Packers, they could be that 10 to 12 win team. They just need Jordan Love to make that next step. You got to think of the Packers. You have Aaron Rodgers, who he, at that time with the Packers was elite, and then you have Brett Favre. So Jordan Love is following Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers,
Yeah.
like two elites in their careers. But there's something with the Packers. They're not being able to win Super Bowls at, I don't know, like, if Jordan Love is going to make that leap. Have we seen the best of Jordan Love? Is this it? Is this the Green Bay Packers? Are they the new Pittsburgh Steelers, or are those two equal? Like, we're going to go 10-7, we're going to go 11-6, we're going to be in that hunt for the wild card. We're going to have solid defense. We're going to have a good offense. And Pittsburgh's has that same model where they've got that running back. The receivers are always they're good, but you never go, man, other than DK, now they have that finally elite guy. Before they had Antonio Brown. But that's when Pittsburgh was at its best, when it had Big Ben playing at this elite level, and they had the guy at wide receiver,
Yeah.
Mr. Crazy himself, Antonio Brown.
And they had Le'Veon Bell at his prime
Yeah,
too.
and I like Josh Jacobs. I think he's a good back. He catches the ball. He runs like a monster. And I don't even hate Tyler Kroft at tight end for them. I think he's a solid guy. But I just they need some leaps in their play. Like Christian Watkins everybody thought he was going to be the big wide receiver. can't stay healthy. Now he's second team with Matthew Golden in. Is Golden going to be the guy? Is Damon Wicks? Is it Reed? Like, somebody has to step up here and be the guy that, hey, it's 3rd and 6 or 3rd and 10. And on some teams where the ball's going. Like, you just know it's going here and it's going to get caught by whoever, that receiver, like Kansas City. It's going to Kelsey, but you don't stop it because he's that guy. And
Yeah.
they need that. They need that, and they need
I think
that
Jordan Love
cockiness.
does. Yeah, I think Jordan Love does need that for sure fire. Like, hey, you are the number one guy. It's me and you. The other guys are great. Assets and everything. To kind of tag along with that. Because even in Tampa, right? I mean, as good as the wide receiver room is in Tampa, Mike Evans is still the guy. Like,
Still the man.
He is the guy. So who's going to be the guy for the Green Bay Packers? Maybe it's Matthew Golden. Maybe, because the Green Bay went nuts for this guy over the draft. And it was so funny because I think it was like 2 minutes prior to them drafting him, they were like, one thing that this team doesn't need is another young wide receiver. And sure enough, they go out and draft a young wide receiver. But I have them going, between the 9 and 10, 10 and 11 wins. They're going to be a team that is going to be in the hunt for the wild card or for the hunt for the top in the division, because I think you're right. I don't foresee another 15-2 season, or another 14-3 second place team. That was wild. But let's go to, man, who do I want to go to?